Morning, guys. Well, hopefully this weather is not getting you too depressed, but it gives you an opportunity to just sink in, get a cup of tea or hot chocolate or a cup of coffee, and focus on the work that we have for the next 4 days. I posted a number of things in the Google Classroom. I've given you another exemplar on the commodity project, what it looks like. You've already done part one. I've set up for the Zoom meeting today at 12. The April 13th check-in is right there. And then there's a breakdown for you on the part two commodity, right? Or the question. I need you to check in the answer. And there's a video demand video. And what the heck is going on? That's because I'm in stream on classwork. My bad. Project part two, which is where we're at. So here's a detailed breakdown of what part two looks like. So you're going to add this to your first part on the history of a commodity. Just keep building slides. Make sure you build a title page, commodity project part two. I give you a detailed breakdown. What we're doing is we're doing supply and demand graphs, and you have to have a detailed explanation of what is going on. And you will demonstrate that understanding about the graph by sharing with me factors that would shift the demand curve. I've given you examples of what it would look like. Here you can cut and paste the graph, but I want you to cite the source of where you cut it. I put a source for graphs up here. You can click on this link here, or you can do a search on shifts and Laur's demand, shifts, Laur's supply to get your own graphs. Then there's a detailed explanation of what's going on. Demand has moved from P1 to P2. And that means we have an increase because of demand, we have an increase in price, but not an increase in supply. And you can see this is a detailed description. You will put that in with the graph. So you're showing me that you understand the four factors that we'll be going over. The part that's going to require your thinking is, okay, scenarios that would cause a shift in demand, right? There are factors that are going to lead to shifting in demand, which are mentioned in the video notes for class that I posted today. So there's that part. You're doing part two, and you're going to add that to your commodities project. So I posted you this one on gold, and it's right here. You see there's a separate supply chain, supply and demand, right? There's a detailed description. Supplies, demand increases, while supply stays the same. So you see a shifting of demand. And then there's five scenarios for how that happens. And then the same thing for demand decreases, and 5 scenarios that would call demand. They don't have to be realistic, but you just have to demonstrate that, yes, that would truly decrease demand. For example, the coronavirus has increased the demand for food and toilet paper. That's a real thing. It's a psychological thing. It's also decreased the demand for airline tickets. It's a psychological thing. So the virus in itself is causing an increase in demand for some products and a decrease in demand for others. Use those as an example. And you're going to do that for 4 scenarios. Supply increases, supply decreases while demand stays the same. Demand increases or decreases while supply stays the same. You're going to put them in there, and you're going to explain them and put in the 4 scenarios. That's all that we're doing this week. The last part will be technical price data, which I will cover with you when we get back from vacation. So that's what it's looking like. You're going to add these slides to your presentation, and make sure you share that with me after you've completed, because when you share in the Google Classroom, I only get the first version. And when you share for the second part, just make a notation, part 2 submitted, so I can go in and add that to your ongoing grade. All right, enjoy the week, and I hope you're having a good time, a good experience, and let's finish this thing up as we get closer and closer towards vacation.